Sounds amazing. Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here, hello. Who could moan about a G chord with that note in it? What's that one?
That would be the fifth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that extra note in it, we love it. Okay, welcome to the show. Please subscribe.
Indeed.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
It's so weird, sat here with
I know.
guitars with air in them.
And what were we listening to then?
A G chord.
A G chord.
On an electro-acoustic guitar.
Yep.
Into an acoustic amplifier.
And
A Fender Deluxe Reverb.
come on.
So this show, please go to That Pedal Show store as well.
Yes.
Dan came up with this idea yesterday. He said, let's do kind of acoustic guitar, sort of for electric guitarists, and just make the point that you don't have to buy things that say acoustic on them.
No.
They don't have to be brown.
No.
You don't have to plug straight into the PA.
No, you really don't.
Here's just some fun you can have with your existing gear, or something like your existing gear, and your humble, or not so humble, acoustic guitar.
Yes. Yeah, so many years ago, I'd gone to see the Pixies, and Frank Black had like the most outrageous acoustic guitar sounds, and I've always been fascinated by plugged-in acoustic guitar sounds.
2 electric guitar amps.
Well, I didn't know at the time. I thought
okay.
it was, this
Just plugged in general.
I thought it was in like the PA. What was he doing?
Yeah.
And I was speaking to the tech afterwards, and it's like, no, Frank plugs his acoustic into his AC30 and cranks it. And it was glorious.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no reason not to plug your acoustic guitar into your amplifier. Now, it comes with a few caveats that we'll have a look at.
Yeah, I think we should say right from the top, if you're into your Bedell or your handmade, whatever it might be, and you want the most high fidelity mic'd acoustic guitar sound possible, we are just not talking about that today.
No, we're not.
Because that, in our world anyway, and when I say our world, Dan, you did how many years of acoustic gigs?
It's like 10 years every Friday night.
Yeah, I've done probably more acoustic gigs than I have electric gigs in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I've probably done more gigs on this guitar than I have my 61 Strat.
Yeah.
So we're not total virgins to the acoustic guitar world.
Indeed.
But in that world, which is a world of significant compromise,
That is a beautiful way to put it.
if you're playing Budokan or Madison Square Garden or the Royal Albert Hall, you've probably got a tech that knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing the kind of thing that most of us do most of the time, with due respect, you're not. You're either dealing with an enthusiast or you're dealing with somebody so long in the tooth and bored they just don't care about you.
Yeah.
So you do have to take, I believe, a bit more care of your own sound.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, plugging this straight into the front of house, not good enough.
No.
Because I have no
100%.
control.
Yep, 100%.
And I want some control and I want to enjoy my tone. So that's my start point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you're going for, like I say, if you're going for that like beautifully mic'd acoustic guitar sound, that just doesn't exist on stages.
No.
Unless you are
Yeah, for
a
sure.
concert performer.
Yeah.
Right. So most of us take whatever is in here, whatever pickup is in here,
Mm-hmm.
go out of here and plug into something.
Yeah. It also bears to be said that the pickup systems in these guitars are passive. There's no active element until it hits a pedal.
Yeah.
But
We both like minimal crap in the guitar.
absolutely.
And do the equalization if you need it, preamplification stage elsewhere.
That's right.
We both prefer that, makes the guitar lighter. The pickups that we both use are the K&K Pure Mini. But that's not to say that whatever pickup you've got in your guitar, you can't do this as well.
Exactly. So that's exactly the point. The only difference is if you have an active system and you want to use it like this, you might need to turn it down so it sort of matches the level a bit. But
So it doesn't-
that being said, there is absolutely no reason that you can't plug into your normal pedal board into a normal amplifier. So we're going to go through and make some noise and have some fun. Because one of the things I for those 10 years, it gave me a really great appreciation of how great an acoustic guitar can sound with a band.
Oh man, are you kidding?
It's
if you don't have an acoustic guitar in your band and the material will stand it, get one in there now.
completely.
Because it's not just melodic, it's percussive too. But
Yeah, and it's a big thing. The band that I was in forever in Australia, actually the band where I met Teen, we didn't have a bass player. It was an acoustic guitar player and me and a drummer.
oh wow,
And all the bottom end was coming from the acoustic.
because there's so much of it.
It was just wonderful.
All right, look, before we get into using some of these effects and maybe the guitar amp, I just want to show you where I start. Right?
Okay.
So I do quite a few singer-songwriter type gigs. I'll stand up and sing and play the guitar. And when I do that, I have this guitar plugged into that amplifier. And you've seen it on the show before. It's an AER Compact 60 Mark III. It's great. It's small. It weighs nothing. It does everything this guitar needs it to do.
And tell us about that guitar.
Oh, yeah, okay. Briefly, this was a 40th birthday present from my wife to me, and I went to the Collings factory to pick it up. How spawny is that?
She loves you.
And as such, it's my favourite guitar
It's a
of all time ever.
spectacular.
Yeah,
spectacular
Dan will
thing.
tell you about his in a minute. Anyway, so we're a bit lucky in that respect. Anyway, you would hear this guitar straight into that amp, and this is just this guitar into that amp, okay? And if I don't want all that zing, it's got a colour knob on the top panel. And that can totally depend on how you're feeling.
Yeah.
One ever so slight tangent is because this is a passive system, it suffers the same treble roll-off that you would get in a Strat.
Yeah, right.
That is really useful because the singing. So that works for me because there's just a tiny volume control in there. And the last thing I want to say is when I play the acoustic guitar, I'm always singing, right? So I do nothing complex on the acoustic guitar. I never ever try and play anything. I've done gigs where I've tried to play solo acoustic fingerstyle pieces. Nobody cares. Okay? If I'm playing the acoustic guitar,
There's a t-shirt.
nobody cares. In the kind of places I play, you've either got to be playing a song they know and
Yep.
love,
Yep.
or you've got to be so loud they have no choice but to listen to you.
And that is 95% of us, right?
It's a bit of a reality check
Yep.
when it comes to
Completely.
these kind of gigs. And your gigs might be different, but this is my experience of it over the last 20 years.
Yeah, I concur.
And my final point on that is, as a result, trying to play anything remotely, nobody's going to hear it.
Yeah.
So every single thing in my sound is optimized for. And whether you like that or whether you don't like it, I promise you, if I'm stood in a pub singing at you, you're going to hear it.
Yeah,
So that's it.
yeah.
For me, it starts and stops there. So this is an education.
Okay.
Because you were quite different in Bipolar Bears, right?
Bipolar Bears, because it was me and Doug, but it was a rock duo.
Yeah.
And I needed overdrive. I needed to be able to hit on something and lift and, go into big choruses and stuff. So it was still the sing-along stuff. It was nothing complicated, but it still needed to sound like, White Stripes
Yeah,
with an
yeah.
acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting because I found that there was a place for overdrive pedals,
Yeah.
and there was a place for delay. And I'm like, well, do I need an overdrive, an acoustic-specific overdrive pedal? Absolutely not. I was just picking stuff at random and finding stuff that really worked. And, it was so much fun and really added an element to those gigs that otherwise, that's the thing about acoustic guitar is if you're doing it all night and you're doing the songs and it's fantastic, but just little things to add different dynamic elements into it, into a performance.
Because an hour and 20 of G does get a bit, A minor if you want, but an hour and 20 of cowboy chords, unless they're really compelling songs, is hard, isn't it?
Yeah, completely.
Should we jump to the other end of the spectrum and turn the AER off, turn the Deluxe Reverb on?
Yep.
And so what you've heard is what I would call a typical traditional acoustic sound that is not mic'd. An electro-acoustic guitar, i.e. a guitar with a pickup into it, into a acoustic-specific amplifier, which could also be straight into front of house.
Yeah.
Dan is now going to take that exact same system and plug it into an electric guitar amp.
Yep. And so nothing else. This is the guitar plugged directly into the Deluxe. It's fantastic!
For comparison's sake then, oh no, there you go.
I love that. That's why guitar shops sound so good. Because you got 30 guitars all ringing in sympathy with what you're playing.
They all ring. Now, subjective, right? The AER, to me, sounds more like an acoustic guitar. The Deluxe Reverb sounds more like an electric guitar. In a band mix, a Deluxe is going to sit great.
Absolutely.
And as we said earlier, it's not the traditional, beautiful flat top acoustic guitar. It's not that. It's something different.
Completely. But this is about if you're doing a gig and you've got a song that calls for an acoustic guitar, don't be afraid to take your acoustic guitar and just plug it into your amplifier, into your pedal board. It's a really cool way to do it. Now, a couple of things that are worth trying. So I think it's absolutely worth having an EQ because depending on the amp that you're using, if you have a very mid-focused amplifier and you don't have the ability to shape the sound on the guitar, you may want to mess around with the EQ a little bit.
Go on. Okay, I'll start with it flat then.
Okay.
Just give you a broad idea of what each of these bands is going to be doing before we choose something, okay?
Mm-hmm. I love that.
So what I want is more of the zing.
Yep.
I want more zing and I want less box.
Okay.
And the box for me was all around here.
Yep.
Up here.
Yep.
That 3.2 is pretty horrible.
Right.
3.2 is just fantastic for electric guitar overdrive, but it is pretty disgusting on an acoustic guitar. Listen.
What's an acoustic guitar plugged into a Deluxe? That sounds awesome.
1.6 was also pretty horrible.
Yeah.
But so now we've taken it from being quite a cool and vibey acoustic guitar into an electric guitar amp, a step back towards the AR.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
we go again. So where you'd benefit from a bigger graphic equalizer would be more bands to choose from.
Right.
And we won't get into EQ specifically, but that's what you heard is when we pushed up the 100 hertz, that's where the feedback came. That's how feedback busters work. You find the offending frequency and you reduce it. Anyway, equalizer.
Fabulous.
Do you prefer this or this?
That massively.
I knew you would. It's much more old school. To me, it sounds more like an old school, like if you watch James Taylor in the 70s.
Yeah.
With like a little gooseneck mic.
Yeah, right.
It's closer to that. Anyway, all right.
That's really cool.
Should we talk about compression for a minute?
Yeah, please. Okay. Compression is a big thing, right? In as far as dynamics are concerned, what a compressor does is it reduces the dynamics. So the loud notes become quieter, the quiet notes become louder.
You've almost never heard an acoustic guitar recorded that doesn't have some compression on it.
Yeah,
somewhere.
yeah, right. Yeah. So how would you go about using a compressor on an acoustic?
So for those of you who use compressors in your electric guitar rig, you know the settings you like, you know how it sort of helps the playability and the volume, bringing the dynamics closer together. I've never been able to get on with them. I use compressors all the time in post-production and I love them. And this is essentially a post-production type compressor because it's the 1176, the Uray 1176 type, in new small box form from Origin Effects, but generally considered to be among the best pedal compressors ever made.
Right.
Right. This one's got two compressors in it. At the moment, because the gold knob is all the way around to the left, we're only using one compressor.
Oh, okay. And what, you blend the second one in with the gold?
Yeah, which we can do in a sec. But having said that I never play anything tricky or single notes, let's play some single notes to begin with.
Okay.
And turn the compressor on and see where we are. And for this, I'm just going to go back to the AER to keep it acoustic world. So that's set quite extreme, right?
Yep,
If I hit it now. So it's changing the EQ.
Yeah.
Because letting the high end come through more. That's with the bottom right hand knob all the way around to the left. That is fast attack and slow release.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
So fast attack means it catches all of this. Slow attack means that you get more of the front of the note.
Right. Okay.
And what's cool about that is, if you want the fast attack to catch the note, you can also dial in a load of dry. So we got it set quite extreme there, and that was into the Deluxe Reverb.
But that means you can do the finger picky stuff and the rhythm stuff, and it all just evens out.
It gives you a much better chance of being heard if you're gonna play.
That's very cool.
Yeah, or if you're, I don't know, I'm a hitter, and I hit with sort of one vigorosity. So I don't know, like if you'd be playing. Nice thing.
Yeah, and especially if you're going to play some solo lines.
Yeah, so within that,
Yeah.
somewhere within that, just bear in mind it's just you and your voice and an acoustic guitar.
I really love that.
A great leveler.
It's awesome.
Yeah. The only downside is when you come, the other way to get people's attention when you're doing solo acoustic gigs is if you've actually got them and you do actually have them and they're not all shouting at each other and showing them stuff on their mobile phones, go utterly whisper quiet.
Oh, okay.
In a soft bit of a song.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And see if you can make them all shut up.
Right.
If you've got the compressor on for that, it's a bit harder.
Yeah, of course.
Cue, sing along chorus.
Brilliant.
It's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
And what I did there, as I dialed in, the gold knob is the blend. It sends one side of the compressor into the other side of the compressors, 2 in 1, and you heard what a significant effect
Yeah.
that started to have in
yeah.
a big way. That sounds killer, man.
Yeah. I really dig it. Okay. One thing that I used to do all the time that I loved was using an overdrive pedal, and it's interesting because it does a very similar job to the compressor. We've got a couple on the board, which I haven't used before, but we used the MXR Duke of Tone yesterday, which we loved. We thought sounded fantastic, so we thought we'd give that a go. But you know, the big thing is don't be afraid to throw an overdrive pedal on because it can sound fantastic.
So I'm interested in that into the AER then. Because what you've got is a whole different EQ in the electric guitar amp.
Yeah.
See if the AER is worse or better for feedback.
Okay.
That's cool. I actually prefer it into the AER.
Oh, okay.
Because all that low mid feedback is gone.
Okay.
Or when it's actually overdriven, it sounds pretty horrible.
Yeah.
But so in the boost mode, it was great.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So what I found with the acoustic thing is because I think the frequencies are so much wider with acoustic, less is definitely more.
Yeah, and you can see where we've got the tone control on the Duke of Tone there.
Yeah, yeah. But you can, if just with a bit of gain, just to give it a bit of a lift.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I'm wondering
great.
if the broadcast might do a better job then.
Okay.
Because, so the MXR, in boost mode, the MXR is working great. The broadcast is more like a studio preamp type thing.
Right.
Albeit for guitar. So I'm wondering in low gain mode if this might do a lovely job of it.
Okay. If you get to a section of a song where it just needs to lift a little bit, that is perfect.
Cool. It's cutting out any overdrive pedal is going to lop off a huge amount of bottom end.
Right.
Any electric guitar overdrive pedal is going to lop off a huge amount of bottom end. Which in isolation, when all that bottom end is taken away, you're like, that's got a bit thinner and much more horrible.
Yep.
Actually, in a band, could be exactly what you need.
Yeah.
Just to stand out a bit more. I like both of those, actually.
Yeah.
Subtlety is the key, isn't it?
The broadcaster kept things a bit more together for me. But, yeah, it doesn't need a lot, but it can be a really cool thing. Doing a similar job that the compressor does.
Yeah, just more gain.
Yeah. But the big thing, don't be afraid to have a go. That's great.
Modularization, then.
Yeah. Goes without, it's not a massive surprise that mods are going to be...
Dan likes modulation on his acoustic guitar
Yeah.
sounds. Well, you've heard a chorus on acoustic guitar sounds like forever, so...
Yeah, completely. But, again, it doesn't have to be... I mean, it absolutely can be really out there, but, just having a little bit of chorus...
So with both amps pushing the volume, we get into feedback. If you want to learn more about feedback, we did a show recently on feedback. The principles are exactly the same for electric guitar and acoustic guitar. Obviously, it's much more pronounced with acoustic guitar, where the problem frequencies start to happen. That sounded killer.
Yeah, and so a little bit of movement. You know, I'm a big fan of modulation anyway, but done in I sort of went to more extreme at the end and added some regen in.
Yeah.
But just a little bit of movement there, and anything can do that. I mean, Harmonious Monk for the that bit of tremolo movement stuff. Really good chorus, good flanger, whatever.
Chorus, phaser, flanger.
But you can absolutely just use normal guitar, electric guitar modulation pedals in that spot, and it'll be awesome.
In the context of what we're talking about, again, if we go back to your, handmade $15,000, whatever it is, one of those guitars that gets featured in acoustic guitar magazines, which I used to edit. Maybe this isn't for you, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about this.
Completely.
All right, delay and reverb then. So again, it's probably not many acoustic guitars you've heard that don't have some sort of reverb, whether it's just a room reverb or, the physical ambient sound of the space. Because remember, if you're miking a guitar in a room, that mic has to be pretty loud, because these things are, loudish, but they're certainly nothing like as loud as an electric guitar amp. What that means is, because the microphone is loud, particularly if it's an omnidirectional type studio capacitor microphone, then it's going to be picking up the ambient sound of the space.
Yes, of course.
Number one. Number two, highly, highly likely there's some studio reverb added. So typical, we'll deal with reverb and delay together if you like, but typical everyday reverb pedal, Hall of Fame 2, designed for electric guitar. Now, because these things are really full frequency and designed to be used at the end of effects chains, they're not as susceptible to, for example, guitar, bass and acoustic relevant frequencies. Because they just do it all.
They do.
So you can choose pretty much any reverb, I would say.
Any
of the
reverb,
Boss reverbs,
completely.
Any of that.
Yeah.
So the AER, you've been hearing a little bit of reverb that it has built in. I'm just going to turn that off. It's very nice, actually. It's just a nice studio-y type plate reverb, beautiful, if you want it. But okay, so man, everything seems really quiet now. There's me and Dan getting busy with the volume again. Try and save you from some of the eternal G.
G sharp.
Yeah. That's lovely.
It sounds amazing. It really does sound amazing.
And then, so if you do get into your, I'm dicing with death here, putting the capo this far up, risking the tuning. Sometimes I'll sing a ballad and the guitar part goes like this.
It's so beautiful.
Not a dry eye in the house. They're all going, please stop, please stop. But I just think it's a great thing to do. If you're going to do a ballad or a slow song where there's a bit of space.
Yeah.
But equally, shorter room reverb's really, really groovy.
Yeah.
Have a whack, Dan.
It's really cool.
I do love a room reverb. Sorry, it
Yeah.
took me a minute to find it. The lo-fi setting in the Hall of Fame 2 is really cool as well. And again, the music's got to have space. If you're playing in a church, you probably don't need
Yeah.
the room reverb because it'll just, you'll sound lovely and reverby anyway. But in a carpeted, small little place, some of that ambience is a really wonderful, wonderful thing. Delay then.
So we've got the Boss RE202, which is their space echo in a pedal format, and it's a multi-head delay. And you think, okay, well, that sort of delay has no business being on an acoustic guitar. Look.
It's really, really lovely. I added the reverb as well. What's quite interesting about that, what you can hear, because we've got 2 amps and we've got quite a lot of volume going, Dan's right on the edge of...
He's on the edge!
So I got a mic in it?
No, it's just the resonance from the top.
What? It's quite funny. You would think that would be the enemy, right, of all electroacoustic guitar players, is any kind of feedback whatsoever.
Oh, yeah.
But if you can sit on it,
Yeah.
and you can use it, I don't know if this one will do it.
Very good.
The guy who's been sat on the bar and has had 19 pints of cider this afternoon and just woke up. Killer, man. I think you could get into that.
Oh, look, I'm so into it.
Yeah.
The whole idea behind this is that the acoustic is such a great sound, and when you're playing and you've got your pedal board and stuff, and you've got all these cool sounds, and that's great. But there are moments in certain songs that just needs an acoustic guitar. Don't be afraid just to plug it in your board.
Yeah, you don't have to just throw all that stuff out, buy brown things.
That's right.
And plugged straight into the PA. You don't have to do it that way.
Yeah.
Again, I'll just say for the last time, if you do want that perfect Clive Carroll, I don't know, think about all the amazing, incredible...
Yeah, those things. Yeah.
Fingerstyle guitar players. Talk about our friend Adam Miller for a minute.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to think of others. But then even people
John
like,
Smith
think about Eric Roach. Think about, who's the other guy I'm thinking of? Preston Reed, Michael Hedges.
Yep.
And even if you go all the way back to John Martin, they were all pushing.
Completely.
Always pushing with sounds. And I think there's a great history there of players who haven't been afraid to use echo machines, electric guitar amps, bit of overdrive, etc.
Yeah, completely.
He said, finally stumbling to the point.
Right. But it's a really important point. It's a wonderful, inspiring thing, and when you just a bit of compression, bit of delay and reverb, and it'll put you in a different space, and it's stuff comes out and it's just glorious. So get into it. Get your acoustic guitar, plug it in your amp, and just have a go.
And go for it.
Really cool.
There we go. Go forth and acoustify.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe. It really helps.
Massive thank you to anyone that's gone to thatpedalshowstore.com and grabbed some merchandise. T-shirts and overshirts and strings and pedals, and we've got loads of stuff there. Guitar straps and it's a fun place to be. Come and check it out.
Yeah. It'll change your life. It changes our life. Thanks for being there.
Shop at thatpedalstore.com. All of your dreams will come true.
Patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Patrons
indeed.
on Patreon. We really appreciate you guys. And also check out the description below for some links to our preferred retailers should you want to buy anything.
Fabulous.
Great.
Fabulous.
Nice one, mate. That was good fun.
Yeah, really fun.
Makes me want to go and do an acoustic gig.
Yeah.
And sing some songs.
Yeah. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
No singing today. We'll get done for copyright. But anyway, there we are.
Thanks, everyone. Have a fantastic day. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.